Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome. We are in Muck Academy, Fundamentals of Social Media Group Office Hours. Thank you so much for being here. We are delighted to talk to you today about the fundamentals of social media. This is a free certification course that is available to anyone on the internet, mrac.co/social. You can sign up and take the course. And this session is aimed at people who already taken the course. But if you haven't taken the course, that's okay. You can take it after this. But for those of you who've taken the course, welcome. And we're just happy to have everybody here. We're live right now on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on YouTube. My name is Sree Srinivasan, and I am the teacher of the course. My adjunct and partner in many digital crimes, Linda Bernstein, at WordWhacker, will also be with me. You'll meet her in a few minutes. A big shout out to the Muck team for creating Muck Academy and for making it possible for us to offer, in the middle of this pandemic, a free certification course. And 4,000 plus people have taken the course. People are completing it now. They're showing us their wonderful certificates that are signed by me and the co-founder of Muck and the Shorty Awards, at Gregory. So if you're watching right now, tweet us, #MRASocial, #MRASocial, where this is meant to be very relaxed and meant to take your questions. So go into the comments wherever you're watching and please type in a couple of comments for us. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us what kind of questions you have about the course. If you finished it already, let us know that. And if you haven't finished it, what are some of the things you're thinking about? Linda and I are going to have a great conversation about what's going on in social media and how things have changed since we did the course just a month ago. And already things have changed. The course went live 3 weeks ago, and here we are now. So if everybody is ready, let's hear from you in the comments. Respond to us, please. And here we go, folks. Great to be here with everyone. I'm Sree, folks. Thank you for being here. I'm on lockdown. When we recorded the videos for the fundamentals course, we were in lockdown. I was living in Manhattan on the Upper West Side with my wife, Rupa, and our kids. Rupa's on Twitter, @RupaOnline. And we produced the show with Mike Schneider, who is @SchneiderSays on Facebook, on Twitter. So please follow him. And we did that in conjunction with him and our team. You'll meet Linda Bernstein in just a minute. Also Stefan Kaplan, who's @SpinItSocial. Check out the great work he does. He has his own show that he hosts every Saturday at @SpinItSocial Hour. And Shristi Heber, a wonderful designer who did our design directing work, and just really all of us were able to work together during the pandemic. And it was wonderful to be together. So we were doing that while we were on lockdown in Manhattan. We have now escaped for a couple of weeks to Fire Island, right off of Manhattan and right off Long Island, so about an hour from there. And Linda is going to join me from upstate New York in just a minute. So right now, if you have questions about social media, you're in the right place. No matter what level you want to ask the questions, we at least know we may not know all the answers, but we know where to look. Anand's watching from India. Thank you so much. Jonathan's watching from Union Square. Great to have you with us. It is really useful for everyone who lives in the digital world. Thank you very much for the course. Thank you, Anand. We're so grateful. Rachel's watching from the Upper West Side, and Janine is watching from Philadelphia suburbs. Completed the course, learned a lot. Yes, I am so pleased to hear that. Rajan is watching and says, good afternoon from Center Reach near Stony Brook, Long Island. I took the course, I learned a lot and thought the course was relatively painless. You know, at the heart of it, Rajan, the inner teacher in me wishes it was a little more painful for our students, but we hope it was memorable. And thank you. I'm just kidding, of course. And let's go right now and bring on our friend Linda Bernstein to come on here and say hello.
Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So, yeah, we're really glad that people have been completing the course, and we've been hearing such great feedback. And it's interesting, like the phrase relatively painless. We wanted it to be, well, I wanted it to be painless in a way because I wanted people to learn without really feeling like there was somebody holding something over them. And I wanted it to be fun. I wanted even the quizzes in the various sections to be fun as well. I wanted them to be learning experiences, not anything anxiety producing like, oh no, I don't know the answer. I wanted it to be something like, let me think about this. And people have told me that they had fun with the quizzes, and that was something that I was hoping would happen. And we just love the feedback, and we're learning from it too. We're learning what people value and what platforms they value and how they see the platforms we focused on in terms of their social presence. So, Sree, how do you feel, a couple weeks after the course launched with the feedback you've been seeing?
I've been thrilled. I can't tell you, first of all, big salute to you, Linda, for all the work you put in, hours and hours and hours. This is, when everybody says that it's hard to do things during the pandemic, it's true, right? It is hard to work together, to find the time, all of that, especially we were doing this at the peak of the pandemic crisis. I mean, the pandemic crisis is not gone, but what I mean is when we were less sure about what was around the corner. Even now, we're not completely sure, but it felt like a different time in those first 100 days versus now. And you were just amazing to work with. And it really helped that we have been working together for so many years. Ravi says hello from New Delhi, catching up after a long time. Great to have you here, Ravi. And others, just tell us how you're feeling. If you've taken the course, if you have questions, we have so much going on in social, we do want to talk about it. But I also want to say to Linda that one of the things that I learned, Akash is watching from Singapore, which is great, that we wish that when you do a course like this, that you are able to think about your audience a lot more than we were able to, right? Like normally, if you're teaching as you do, undergraduate course or a grad school course, exactly within some range what kind of students you have, what kind of experience they have. We decided to do this course for everybody. And even though it was called for journalists and PR pros, the third word was the most important, everyone. And we did that because we felt that this is our contribution in the middle of this pandemic. There's so much going on. So many people have lost their jobs. I talk about it in the course. I lost my job and I found it so painful. I know the kind of trouble that you get if you are one person and you lose your job, and then your family, and then the concentric circles of pain. Even my my dry cleaner got less business from us because I was unemployed. So I can't imagine what it's like for 40 million people to lose their jobs, and that's just in this country. So this was our tiny, tiny, tiny contribution to help people upskill at this time. And the kind of comments we've gotten from people all over the world saying thank you for helping them at this time, that's the best gift we could have gotten from anybody. And the fact that Muck understood that value, and they not only sponsored this, they paid and put in the resources to make this possible. And that's not something everybody does, right, Linda? So Linda, so talk a little bit about yourself. So not everybody got a chance to meet you, obviously. I think you were in one slide during the course. So let's people hear from, let them hear from you about your work, your background, and what all you're up to.
Well, my one slide that I put in with me is that people are often surprised.
Sorry, 1 second, we're gonna do timeout. Akash is asking where to register for this course. Can you share the link, please? And we're going to show it to you on the screen right now. But mrac.co/social, mrac.co/social, that's right there. And maybe one of the things we can do is add that to the existing banner also, so that people can see it when it says welcome. They see that as well. So over to you, Linda, and we'll put the focus just on you.
Okay. So the one slide that I put in that refers to my social profile has to do with my LinkedIn, and it's something that really interests me is there are a lot of Linda Bernsteins in this world, and one would think that maybe there wouldn't be, but there are. And way back on Gmail, I wasn't able to claim Linda Bernstein at gmail.com because before there was Gmail, in order to use Google, you had to sign up for an account. So I had signed up for an account, but then when Gmail started, they couldn't, like, the algorithm or the computer or whatever couldn't accept that I was the same Linda Bernstein. So I had to do something to have that Gmail with my name. And the same thing happened with LinkedIn. When I went to LinkedIn, somebody already had LinkedIn, the LinkedIn address with Linda Bernstein. So I've always wondered what other Linda Bernsteins do. And the point of that slide was trying to be really professional on LinkedIn, because that's what it is. It's a professional network. It's also can be a lot of fun and interesting. And I've had 19-year-old students whose favorite social network is LinkedIn. But in the need to be professional, I was wondering what other people had done. And I found somebody who made her LinkedIn URL Bernstein Linda, and I've seen other things, people trying to play with it. I have never found the person who actually has Linda Bernstein. So I added the PhD for my PhD after my name because it was the most professional thing I could think of. So it's a funny story, but I've been teaching with and working with Sree for a long time now. I love social media.
Can we just say hi to Will Sutton, who's watching right now? Will is amazing. Will was on a list of the most important journalists of the past 100 years. And he was a guest on our positivity show. As you know, Linda, you've been on my show. We have a daily show that we launched talking about COVID and talking about the economic crisis, the racial inequality crisis. And he was amazing on our show. Everyone should follow Will Sutton. Raj Rangarajan says, hello. Hi, Raj. Great to see you. He's on Twitter. Susanna, in short, anything you can say about how this helps professional journalists and content writers will be helpful. If you mean this course, yes, we can. So just very quickly, I'll give you my thoughts, and Linda as well. Just the most important thing that I can think of, in addition to obviously doing your job really well, is, if you have a job, is to understand how to communicate in and around and about that job and that work that you do. And social media helps you do that. If you do not have a job, or you're graduating and waiting to find a job, the best and most useful thing you can do is learn how to tell your story better than you're telling it now. And social media is part of the things that you do. One of the things we learned from a very early session we did together was from our friend Erica Anderson, who is at Erica America, great Twitter handle. And she said, if you're good in real life, you can be great on Twitter. And I say, if you're great in real life, you can be awesome on Twitter. But if you're bad in real life, you'll be awful on social, right? Because that's what happens, that social media amplifies who you are. So if you're a writer, you need to be up on your social media skills. We learned a lot doing this, and there's so much for us to learn, and we're going to share some of those tips again in a few minutes. But thank you, Susanna, for the question. And she says, I'm also in the process of relaunching a professional website for my freelance writing and content curation services. Could use the branding advice also. So let me give you that and hand you over to Linda. I think that we were told by many people, if you remember, websites are no longer important. The website is dead. That's what some of the things that people said. I believe websites are really important, especially, as we'll see in a few minutes, that the social media platforms don't allow you to have the kind of control you think you do over them. They control you. And if you rely on just them, you're going to be dead in the water at some point. If you're not, even if you do everything right, you could be dead in the water. So building up your website, making it shine, making it look really good is worth it. Our colleague and friend Jim Rosenberg likes to say that think of your website as your home country and your social media channels as your embassies. And you need all those embassies, but you really need your home website. And Anand says, as I guess, digital jobs are the least affected by the pandemic. In some ways, yes, but the reality of the economic market is that a lot of people are losing jobs in many sectors. But let me go over to Linda for this.
Yeah, it's first of all, Susanna, just looking at the headshot that's came over from Facebook, you're certainly on the right track there. That was a really good Facebook photo for it to have.
Let's take a look at that one again. We'll just bring it up. Yeah, look at that. That's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And by the way, that's what they say, thumbnail, right? Like, look, that's literally the size of my thumbnail.
I
And
know.
she still shines in that. That's not easy to do. Anand in India also had one. Let's look at his. That also had a really nice thumbnail. Look at that. He's, you know, I would prefer a little tighter shot, right? We'd want a more of a headshot, but that's pretty good. I could pick him out in a digital lineup. And so that works for me, Linda. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing we wanted to get across was that the people like to have fun on social media, but if you're using it professionally, it's really important that you also look professional. And Sree and I gave examples of various profile pictures where people were having fun with it, but it was mostly people with really well-established brands. And especially if you're at the beginning, you need people to be able to identify you. If you're looking for a job, you need to, when you show up on your, your Zoom interview or whatever it's going to be, the Google Meet interview these days, though a lot of things are getting back to be in person. And the person who is interviewing you has been looking at your social profiles. You want to be able to walk into that or sit down in front of your computer and not have the person interviewing you go through some kind of double take like, uh-oh, did I offer an interview to the right person because you look so different. I mean, there are a lot of people who have fun with Twitter and don't have like a profile picture that isn't a profile picture, something that's completely unrecognizable, but that's not really a good idea for the professional world. And I think that now is something, I mean, even online jobs, I mean, things that were digital, places where people could work digitally, even those jobs were threatened, and a lot of them lost because of the ramifications of what happened and, the whole supply chain. And it has really been a really, really difficult time for a lot of people. And a lot of people are trying to get back into the job market or trying to maintain a presence on social while they are not employed or not fully employed. So I, Sree is the person is so eloquent speaking about social and not being employed and what to do.
Oh, thank you. I learned so much from you and everyone about how to conduct myself online, and I'll be forever grateful. Susanna says, thank you, Zena Ballas. She's a great Denver-based freelance photographer, and if you're in Denver, I highly recommend her. So let's do something fun, folks. Let's try the value of social. Everyone recommend a portrait photographer in your town or someone you know somewhere in the world. Make sure you tell us the town, and that'd be fun to just have a list of great freelance photographers. You know, one of the reasons our friend Stefan started his show was to support photographers whose jobs have been lost, right? Because there's so much stuff that they can't do now. Well, certain kinds of photography, news photography, of course, there's lots of opportunity, but headshots and things like that. Spin It Social will feature Claudia Paul today. Look at that. And Jonathan, is that Jonathan in his, wow, I love that photo because Jonathan's more like me now. But look at that mop of hair on his head in that photo. That looks great. And Jonathan, thank you, my friend, for your support. Folks, he has watched 118 straight days of my episodes. 118. Nobody has watched those. I have not watched myself for 118 days, and he has done that, and he's great. And check him out on Twitter. He's Jonathan 10003 on Twitter. And look at this. Janine is tagging people, and she's saying Tom Kelly the Fourth in Philadelphia. That's awesome. And so let's get in more names. I think that'll be a really fun thing that people can do. So tell us who your favorite photographers are. And Jonathan says, vintage photo about 50 years ago. I love that photo, and that's great. But I love how you look now too, Jonathan. So Thank you for being with us as always. Let's keep going. Lots of comments coming in. Post your comments, post your questions, guys. We're here for you. We're here for about another 25, 30 minutes. And we'd love to see your questions and comments come in as well. Linda, maybe this is the time we reveal an update to the Buzz It Dozen. Let's not show it yet, but let's tell people why we did this. And then we'll reveal what we believe to be the most useful, most updated, most accurate collection of, in a single slide that you can get, of stats about social media in one place. Go ahead.
Well, the Buzz and Dozen is just this list of the important or the interesting social platforms and how many people are using them per month. And Muck has been getting together these statistics. I mean, there's nothing like this anywhere, and it's something that everybody really wants to know. We sort of want to know, how many Facebook users are there now? Well, you know, how is Instagram in comparison to TikTok? Because we hear a lot about TikTok, and it's been an interesting development with TikTok, and I will let Sree preview now because something political happened in India, and it has had a really noticeable effect on TikTok, and I'll let Sree talk about that.
Yeah, sure. So let's pull up our slide of the Buzz and Dozen, and we'll just remove our banner here. So you're looking at the Buzz and Dozen, and this is brand new, updated for July 2020. You all saw the June one if you took the course. And look at TikTok. It has exchanged places with Messenger. It lost about 120 million users about a week ago. How is that possible? What happened? And TikTok is under assault around the globe at the moment because India banned 59 different Chinese apps and banned TikTok as a result. And 120 million Indians who love TikTok are now desperately trying to find other tools to use. And we also saw that Secretary Pompeo, the US Secretary of State, has said that they're looking at banning TikTok here as well, or investigating some wording he used. And the answer with their TikTok's response is, we have a US CEO, hundreds of employees in the US, where we respect privacy, et cetera. And then news came today. There's also some investigation about privacy. So TikTok is in the middle of the storm at the moment. As we look at that list again, let's forget TikTok for a second. By the way, the fastest company to 1 billion of any of these platforms. Let's just look at these numbers again. At the very top, you have Facebook. Why don't we play free association, Linda? We've not prepped this, but I'll just name each of these platforms and you give me 10, 15 seconds on each. Facebook.
It's where you go to talk to your family and see family pictures.
And YouTube.
YouTube is where you go for watching clips of things, where you go to find instructions for anything you don't know how to do, like change a tire or use your sewing machine after you haven't used it for 20 years because you want to make masks. And also to see terrific content. I've found some really great little kid content on YouTube also.
Yeah, that's correct. And I decided to work on YouTube this summer. And if people have questions about YouTube, we can talk about it this spring and summer. WhatsApp, to me, is the most underrated of these apps for especially Americans. Americans just don't use it. Of course, millions do. But unless you are a foreigner, you have a background internationally, you have international relatives, you travel a lot, you just don't need it, especially if you have iMessage, which duplicates a lot of it, but is still not as good as WhatsApp. And just to remember, when you look at that chart, you remember the pricing that people paid for these, right? So you have Instagram was $1 billion, right? And when you look at the chart, you see that Instagram is $1 billion, that Mark Zuckerberg paid for it. And then you see that LinkedIn was bought for $26 billion. So 1 billion to 26 billion. And then WhatsApp was bought for $19 billion. So 1 billion for Instagram, 19 billion for WhatsApp. most Americans, that does not compute because they don't use it enough to know that. So as we look at the list, let's look at some of the other tools on there, and you continue the word association. So we have, after WhatsApp, we have WeChat, which is the big Chinese network, and huge. I mean, 1.16 billion people from one country using it, and some others. Let's have you riff on Instagram, please.
Instagram, it's just photos, 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 photos. And look what I had for lunch, and look at me wearing this. But it's also some really good storytelling, and I love Instagram stories are just terrific, and have so much use elsewhere. You can do something in a story, you can create something and then put it elsewhere. And I mean, I think Instagram is also one of the platforms that very much speaks to a generation of people who are in their 20s until like 40. So it's being used by younger people. It's being used by older people too.
Yeah, and that's so interesting about how they've used it and how it's grown. And on Instagram, I am Sree. I hope you'll connect with me there. And Linda, your handles?
Is at Word Whacker on Instagram and on Twitter.
And you're a word whacker because you're a whacker of words. You off their heads, you fix words, you remove them, you edit them.
Editor.
Yeah, exactly. I see that. Will says, great infographic, good info. Thank you. And we're very proud of that. And we updated it. You saw that TikTok dropped. So let's look at Messenger, which is a big platform. I use it every day. It's blended into Facebook, so it's not as obvious where it stops. And there are 1 billion users just on Messenger. But if you're on Mac, get the Messenger app for your MacBook, and you'll find it, or Mac OS. I use it every day. It's better than having to go through the browser for it. And TikTok, I'm Sree.net, SREEDOT.net on TikTok. My kids are horrified that I'm on there. And Will says he's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Muckrack. And yes, he's on Muckrack. Everyone sign up for Muckrack. If you're a journalist, sign up for Muckrack. If you're a PR person, your company has to pay, or you have to pay to be on Muckrack. Some Snapchat. I've never used, sorry, I missed that. What Will said, he said, I've never used WhatsApp. So Will, let's do it. Let's use WhatsApp. It will change your life. I promise you. Get in touch. We'll do it. And let's see, more comments are coming in. And Rajan says, Stephanie Wolf Photography, Ocean County, New Jersey. Great recommendation. And we love seeing these recommendations. So just throw us some folks in here. Rose is here. Rose is one of our 2 producers at Rose Horowitz 31 and Vandana_Menon of my daily program. People watching around the world, please do follow her. And Rose, we're looking for recommendations of great portrait photographers. So throw in your suggestions and tell us where. And look at Rajan, he's just going to town. He's just giving us so many great freelance and landscape photography. So thank you, Rajan, for doing that. Rajan was a guest on my show last Saturday, where we talked about what America means to me. Fantastic. Claire Elizabeth Photography in Albany. Wow, thank you. This is great. Let's keep going with the list. Let's see what are the other tools that we should be riffing on as we're looking at the list. LinkedIn, you go first.
Well, LinkedIn is what you've called the most underappreciated network, and it's really amazing how important this network is, and not just when you're looking for a job. It's really important when you're looking for a job, but it's really important throughout all aspects of our lives. You can, if you're doing research, if you're writing anything and you're doing research on any company, LinkedIn is a great source of information about companies, about people. If you're looking for sources, it's really great to look on LinkedIn too. You can do searches and come up with people. And if you have a paid account, you can send messages to people that you might need to interview for an article if you're a journalist. It's really fantastic. And as I said, I've had 19, 20-year-old students whose friends are all on it. And it's where they all put updates every day about what they're reading, and they communicate, they talk to each other on it, and they feel like it's like they're doing something that has like they're going on record, which is interesting because I don't think that 19 and 20-year-olds often feel like they're going on record on Twitter, but they feel that way about LinkedIn, and I think it's just a great learning experience. Sree, you should talk about LinkedIn.
I've been saying it so long that if you search for me and LinkedIn, you'll find a whole bunch of people saying unappreciated. LinkedIn Sree says LinkedIn is underappreciated. Rose was making a recommendation. Let me read that comment to you, folks. We're going to go back to her comment. And she says, photographers, sure, you know Stefan Kaplan, but you could recommend someone in Greenwich if you're looking for a portrait event photographer. Yeah, just drop in some names. Everybody who's watching right now, go in there and just drop in a photographer's name. I think it would be fun. Name the town that they're in or the geographic area so that people know if you know where they work. I think that'd be great. And Will Sutton says, WhatsApp, using it all the time now. And you have to think about it, Linda, that a tool that, in terms of WhatsApp, a tool that Americans hadn't heard of, Zuckerberg paying $19 billion. And I thought he underpaid for it, the kind of worldwide attention it has and how he controls information how much information goes through there. It does have end-to-end encryption. So that's the hope that it will stay safe for everybody who wants to use it. But that's the other thing. Before we talk about LinkedIn, I just want to tell you that before we go, we need to talk about some of the news that has happened in the last 3 weeks, right? We went from everyone focused on how great the opportunity is with Facebook ads and social media ads to like cutting off ads completely. That was not on the cards when we started our conversation and our shows, our recording of our shows with Stefan. The three of us and Mike would be kind of hanging out, and we were trying to figure all this out. So about LinkedIn, really underappreciated, so much opportunity, so many new features, one after another coming out, LinkedIn Live, LinkedIn Events. And I've not played around with LinkedIn Events yet. I don't know if Linda has. I think there's just so much there. And everybody work on your LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Connect with Linda on LinkedIn. I try to use these tools as examples on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. I try to model good behavior. Doesn't mean I always do. I spend 3 to 6 to 10 minutes on every tweet I write, every post I do, because I want it to be teachable. I want a moment there where you folks learn something. And in terms of Facebook, I want everybody who hasn't done this yet to join my closed Facebook group. You're going to Facebook, as I'm going to show you here right now. Just give me a second. I'm going to go into Facebook and just share with you how you can learn a lot on Facebook. As you can see here, so I'm on regular Facebook, and then I type in here, Sree's Advanced Social. That's all you need to do, Sree's Advanced Social, and hit enter. And when you do, you get here, Sree's Advanced Social Media Group, and you click on that and you ask to join. And there are 22 people waiting to join, and I hope all of you will join. And it's an incredible resource. And I know Linda is on it and has used it all the time, and she's one of the administrators of this group. It's a fantastic group, not because of me. It's fantastic because of everybody who's in it. 10,000 people are in this group now, and I learn from them every day. And that's what makes this such a special place on the internet. And I encourage everybody to play around with Facebook groups. They have so many new tools within it, including the ability to get people to learn. You have like learning modules and things in there as well. Linda, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I think everybody really should join Sree's Advanced Social at Facebook group. It's a great place. I also want to make a point about WhatsApp, is that, I mean, it's a great place to have organizing conversations or family conversations. I think it works better than, in a way, iMessage, because it's more easily searchable than messages are. But I've also found, I mean, what always surprises me with my college students is that they seem to have no, like, definite barriers for what they will try, and so many of them do use WhatsApp, and it might be partially because once they're in college, they meet students from other places, and it's where they talk, and or it's just that a lot of them also are on Signal, which is another encrypted um, communication messaging service. But I think WhatsApp is really terrific. And what's interesting to me when we look at the buzz and dozen and is, Facebook's role in there, that Facebook owns WhatsApp, they own Instagram, and they own Facebook, and they own Messenger. And yeah, I mean, their dominance is really felt here.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, can you reflect for a minute about Twitter? Look how low it is on that totem pole. But only in the world of like Wall Street would you consider 386 million like low performing, right?
Right.
So what are your thoughts on just seeing it there? What does that tell you? Why do we talk so much about Twitter? Why am I obsessed with Twitter when it's like that? But while you think about it, I should just show you that our friend Will Sutton reports that he has hit some kind of limit and can't follow more people until more people follow him. So first he could maybe unfollow some of the boring people that he's following, but everybody should be following Will Sutton. There is his handle. Oops, there it is. Will Sutton. Everybody, please follow him. He's an amazing voice at this moment. He's a columnist in New Orleans. And we did this incredible show together where I laughed and laughed and laughed. He's a former, he used to work at McClatchy, Knight Ridder, Gannett, Hampton University. He's the past president of the National Association of Black Journalists. So WILLSUTTON. Everybody, please follow him. He is an amazing voice and so you will learn a lot from following him. I promise you. Please check him out. Sorry, go ahead, Linda.
I don't know where we should pick up again here.
No, you were talking about the importance of Twitter.
Yeah,
everybody talks about that.
Yeah, Twitter, the thing is that really important people are on Twitter, and people are in the United States. We now have a president who started making policy and announcing policy and hiring and firing, which on Twitter. And I remember years and years ago when Sree found somebody hiring and firing on Twitter, or hiring. He hadn't seen firing at that point. He thought it was just amazing. But now it's become so important. These are these important voices. It's not just the president of the United States who announces policy on Twitter anymore. It's all the world leaders. And then it's a great place for reporters reporting news, and news organizations and celebrities reporting about what they're doing. And so its influence is outside. I mean, it's so much more infinite influence than we would think that comparatively, just looking at that chart. And I think that says something about these numbers, that having 1 billion monthly users or 2 billion monthly users don't necessarily mean that the influence on our actual lives is reflected in those numbers. I don't know if you'd have the same assessment of this. Sree, I think you would, because you really are a Twitter believer.
Twitter nut, as I've been called. Let's keep going. Let's see some more comments as people tell us where you're watching from. If you're just joining us, this is the discussion around. Oh, nice. We'll blow that up a little bit so people can see it. And that's Will Sutton's page there, and that's great to see him there. So everyone do follow him. But if you're just joining us, this is our about 10 minutes left on our conversation that Linda and I, who put together the Muck Academy social media course. We would love to have you take the course. It's available at mrac.co/social, available to anyone, anywhere in the world. It's free and available right now, and you get a certificate at the end of it. And just tweet out your certificate with MRA Social, and we'll show that. A big shout out to Stefan, who is behind the controls, working the show and bringing this to you. Isn't this better than a Zoom call? There's so much more activity and interesting stuff happening. Jonathan says, I will follow Will Sutton, but more important, I've been clearing the clutter in my social media. Friends, followers, groups, pages. Excellent. Do this all the time. Clear the clutter. Marie Kondo, your social media. Allison Corrin says, also great headshots and more by Todd France. Allison, tell us where Todd is based. I think that would be great for us to know. And just
headshot. Wow.
Yeah, that's right. And that's over on LinkedIn. The conversation's taking place. We just love being able to talk to all of you, and we're so grateful that for those of you already taken the course, what we'll do is we'll scour Twitter and show you some of the certificates that people have gotten already using the hashtag MRA Social, and you can also see Buzzin' Dozen with the hashtag Buzzin' Dozen out there, and the new Buzzin' Dozen, which is already up and around. So thank you all for being here. We're just very, very grateful for the comments coming in, the questions coming in. It's great to have everybody's feedback, and we would love to hear from you. What are some things that you would like to us or Muck to do in future free certification courses? I'm also curious what you would pay for free certification. There's Jamie's lovely certificate right there, signed by me and signed by @Gregory, the co-founder of Muck, and lots of other people have been posting it too, which is really, really cool. So thanks to Stefan for pulling that up, and just great to have so many comments. Tweepy to clear clutter. Yes, I think that's a tool that people are using. How do you clear Instagram clutter? That's one of the things that I would just go in and just look at who I've not been following for a while or not seeing their photos, pull that out. Allison says Todd is based in Brooklyn. Shout out to people in Brooklyn. And that's why she was connecting him with Todd France Photo. Thank you. And what else do we have here? Will says, Jonathan, thank you. I will declutter. I need another declutter day. Susanna says, I would pay for a digital, what did she say?
A digital clutter clearing course.
Yes.
That's an idea. We can offer certification, and I got rid of my clutter.
And Linda is in charge of our educational programs on DigiMentors, which is our side of the house. And we're just really pleased to hear your ideas. Rajan says, I know that some creatives I know have separate Facebook accounts for personal, friends and family versus everybody else. Do you recommend that? No, I don't, because you can very easily be reported by one of your friends or family who knows you're doing this. And Facebook, it's against the terms of service. And Linda remembers the story in about, I'd say 2010, I was in India in their Hyderabad office of Facebook, and they had hundreds of people whose only job was to delete Facebook accounts, fake Facebook accounts. Now they delete them by the millions, but that was, and you know how especially teenagers do this, where they have a Facebook account for parents and Facebook account for college and a Facebook account for their friends. And you know who reports them the most? Their so-called friends. So I would not create that. Also, it's hard to keep those personalities different. I think on Instagram, it's okay to have multiple Instagram accounts because that's okay, because you might have specific things you're doing. But Facebook, they really want you to be yourself. Have multiple pages, of course. But Facebook did the course recently. It was phenomenal. Thank you. And thank you, Rajan. Where did you send that photo you said I took of you 20 years ago? I'd love to see that. Let's see. Jonathan says, I'll gladly set up a clutter support group if there's enough interest. Nice. Very nice. And Rajan says, I didn't know it was against the T of S. Yes, you promised to be real. And this is why, I think that there's still hope, but so much going on with Facebook advertising. And lots for us to talk about and think about. We just have a few more minutes left. I know we'd gotten some questions in advance. I know Mike had sent over some. I don't know, Linda, if you have access to any of those, that we can use those as well.
Yeah, I should. Um, so the I guess that what I think is a really good question is is there any about general tips for thinking about how we should craft messaging or copy differently on the various platforms? Because we are both Sree and I, and especially Sree, is a big advocate of not cross posting. And I will sit here and admit that there are some times when I post to Instagram and I have it go right to my Facebook too. But generally, each platform, when Sree and I were free associating with the platforms, we think of it in different ways. So what we would have on a Facebook post is different from what we would have on an Instagram post, for instance. I mean, Facebook um, on Instagram, people use more hashtags, and they use at mentions when they're tagging people in a different way that it doesn't look right on Facebook when people have the same message. It doesn't look right on Facebook when you have a lot of hashtags. Facebook on hashtags on Facebook are applicable, but it really doesn't add anything to the Facebook post, except that sometimes people these days, hashtags are a form of speech. I mean, people go like hashtag it's wet outside, or something like that. People talk about their mood. I mean, people use hashtag mood on all various social media now, but it's what we would have. I mean, on LinkedIn, for instance, it's great to post and update as often as you can there. It's several times a week, and comment on everything, other people's posts, and like other people's posts. Get involved. That's the way that people will start taking notice of you and start following what you have to say. But the things that we say on our Instagram captions, we might find that a photo on Instagram, that it even looks weird on another platform, because Instagram has that square format for everything. So it's really tailoring the content to the tone of the platform.
Yeah, thank you. That's so helpful for you to kind of think about that, and I think everybody should think about it. And everyone follow Linda. She's great at word whacker, and that's our friend Gianni Riotta on there. He's at Riotta, Riotta. Wait a minute, it's your birthday today?
Yes, it's my birthday today.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Happy birthday! Wow, you're spending your birthday with us. Happy birthday, Linda.
But there is cake. There is cake sitting in the refrigerator. So I know about it. And,
yeah, and that is, you didn't say anything. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I missed the chance to celebrate you. So I want to take a selfie with you. So we're gonna ask for a one shot of you on the screen, and so that I can take a selfie. Everybody take a selfie with Linda. That is so awesome. There she is, Linda and me. And happy birthday, Linda. That is just great.
Thank you.
One of the things when people ask, what did you do during the pandemic? You launched a course that helped thousands of people. And you also did another great thing, which was you came on our show to talk about pandemics and Shakespeare and pandemics. And that was such a fun episode where we got two of the leading experts on Shakespeare, and you talking about Shakespeare during the pandemic. Like, one of the things we'd heard is that Shakespeare wrote King Lear during his pandemic, and the question was, boy, do we have to write King Lear in order to have had a successful pandemic? And you learned with me that not only did he not write King Lear during the pandemic, that he was probably as out of it like the rest of us. But and of course, that's not even counting whatever he wrote. And that was not even
we make no pretense of being Shakespeare. So
exactly, and it's okay I feel like you don't even have to have made sourdough bread on your own
Right.
to have qualified to have had a successful pandemic. To me, a successful pandemic is having made it out of the pandemic, and I think that's really important. And we just got news: 3 million confirmed cases of coronavirus in this country. Shame that we are here partly because of social media, right? Because social media platforms, by pushing the disinformation and the misinformation coming from the highest reaches in the land, have resulted in the terrible situation, in part, which we see here. Jonathan says happy birthday. Patricia says happy birthday. Will Sutton says happy birthday. Anand Babu says happy birthday. Rajan says happy birthday. This is really good. Twitter is good for a quote from an article, and Instagram for an image and a link back. That's an interesting way of thinking about it. And it's just really, really great to have this all here. And thank you all for watching. Lori says hi, and happy birthday from India to Linda. Wow, that's a billion wishes right there. So
yeah, you guys made my day.
Yeah. So as we get ready here to wind up for we're going right into one meeting after another. I have one right at 1 p.m. Eastern, but I definitely want to talk to you. Rajan says 3 million is arguably not just negligent homicide, but negligent genocide. Those are, fortunately, not all 3 million are dead, 3 million cases, but certainly by every parameter, this is a failure of leadership, a failure of technology, a failure of social media, a failure of government, failure of media. And all of that's come together in this pandemic. And we're so sorry to see that. And we're still not out of the woods, right? We started to flatten part of the curve, but then we went up again and again and again. And that's where we are. So tragic in so many ways. Linda, a couple of final thoughts from you, and then we'll close it out. And just remind everyone, if you haven't taken the course, mrac.co/social, mrac.co/social. Please sign up. Tell your friends, tell your family. Anybody in the world can sign up. mrac.co/social. Take a screenshot of this, send it to them. I'll even make a funny face and take a shot and send it out and tell people to join. Really, really important for them to take this free course. It's about 2 hours of work, Linda, and they can do it in 2 days or 2 hours or 2 months. It doesn't matter. Just do something.
Right. Yeah. It's mrac.co/social. Nice. It's a great, so much fun to do. And think of all you'll be sharing with so many people that you have the certificate, and you can put it on your LinkedIn, and you can print it out and put it on your wall, and just have fun. That's what we want to do, and learn. We all want to be better at social. I try to learn every day to be better at social.
Rajan says, thank you, Sree and Linda, for the office hours today. And we love that. And by the way, Linda, just for fun, there's nothing to do with social, but just as I'm thinking about, don't forget the value of books. I'm looking at all your books behind you. Even in this time of social and digital, books matter, email matters, right? But I don't know if we've ever discussed this novel. It's called The Imperfectionist by Tom Rackman. And it was a New York Times best-selling book by my former student, Tom Rackman. And you will love it. It is one of the funniest things I've ever read. I read it on vacation in Jamaica. And I wouldn't go to the beach because I wanted to keep reading. And I would just burst out laughing as I was reading. And Rupa would just be like, wait a minute, what's going on? It is so good. It was one of the most acclaimed books of the year. And his debut novel, Topsy-Turvy Private Lives of the Reporters and Editors of an English language newspaper in Rome. And that's why I thought you'd like it, because you love Italy and you love newspapers and you've been a journalist, and named one of the best novels of the year. It's about 10 years old now. And Janet Maslin said, marvelous, a rich, thrilling book, splendid, original, filled with wit and structured so ingeniously that figuring out where the author is headed is half the fun. It's called The Imperfectionist by Tom Rackman, and strongly recommend it. And I'm going to read that again and check that out. I know you'll love it, Linda.
I can't wait to read it. Yeah.
It's really one of the funniest things I've ever read. Another book I have here is this book, The $1 Trillion Coach by Bill Campbell. We talked about that on one of my shows. Huge fan of this guy who passed away named Bill Campbell. And he had a daily, every Sunday, he had a walking meeting with Steve Jobs and an office meeting with Larry and Sergey. So who could do that in the world? No one except him. And I'm loving reading that book, and we'll talk more about that in the future. But thank you all for being here. We should probably do a thread about what we're all reading currently. I just began City of Dreams, the 400-year epic history of immigrant New York by Tyler Anbinder. Wow, I would love to read that. And maybe, Rajan, that could be a fun project for us to get Tyler on one of our shows and to read with us together. Linda, anything else from your side?
Just take the course and join us all. And it's just been a lot of fun. And thank you very much. And thank you for all your birthday wishes.
Yeah, happy birthday, Linda. And somebody said that, this was short notice. So we should point out that everybody who signed up for the course got an email about this. And let's put the card back, the main card back on the screen so that everyone can know this is what we're talking about. This course, the mrac.co/social course that you can all sign up for. Please do mrac.co/social. This was our group office hours, an extension of what we did. And if there's enough interest, we'll do it again as more people sign up for the course, mrac.co/social. Free certification course now available for everyone, journalists, PR pros, and everybody. Big shout out to Mike Schneider for working on this with us and making it possible. Greg Gallant, we are very grateful for both of them for being here with us. Schneider says, Schneider_says is SEHNEIDER is the handle for Mike. And thank you so much for today's show. Glad I tuned in. I'm on my way to WhatsApp. Thank you, Will. And don't forget, folks, every single day I have a show that you can watch where we talk about all kinds of things. And I'm going to show you nice, Mike Schneider in the house, at least on there. And he's just an amazing guy. It was such a pleasure to work with him. I'm just going to show everyone. You've seen the purple background come in. That's my show. This is our show for tonight. Hamilton Today. Lisa Tucker from Drexel's Klein School of Law is going to talk about Hamilton and the law, reading today's most contentious legal issues through the hit musical. That's tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching, tomorrow we're talking about K through 12 education, episode number 120. You will learn a lot from Aaliyah Wong and from my friend Pavan Dhingra, who has written a book called Hyper Education. And then on Friday, a very important show, Ryan Colasso's story. Ryan, Linda, did you hear about this? This was trending worldwide. Look at the headline: police smash car window of man home on way home from TV interview about police racism. And so this was trending. And so I reached out to him, and he's going to join us. And he was giving an interview, and then he'd been arrested. And so he was giving an interview about being arrested. On his way home, he got stopped and arrested again, violently this time. You can see the window being smashed in. This is in London, as the Black Lives Matter movement sweeps the world, Colasso, a rapper of Indian origin, has decided to speak out about the discrimination faced by Blacks and other people of color in the UK. And that's something that's at noon Eastern time, so about 47 hours from now. And we'd love for people to join us for that. Otherwise, you can see all my archives on YouTube, youtube.com/SreeNet. Let's remind everyone how they can take the course. They just go to mrac.co/social, mrac.co/social. I want to say goodbye to Linda. And thank you so much, Linda, for being here with us.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Happy birthday. Have some cake for me. And hope to see you really soon in person. And good luck with the family. I know that they love having you, spending so much time with them, but I hope they are okay lending you to us for an hour.
Thank you. Yes. And have a good day. And thank you, everybody.
Oh, before you go, 1 second. I'm just going to step away here. And I had wanted to give this to you at another time, but we'll have to do it on camera here. So let me see if I can pull this off. So I don't have, I don't have birthday cake or a great gift or anything, but I'll save this for you. This is a Nobel Prize. How about that? Right, so this is for you. So folks have probably, let's do a one shot on this because people have probably not seen a Nobel Prize in someone's hand. This is a Nobel Prize, actually a chocolate Nobel Prize. And so what is the term for Hanukkah Gelt, right? Is that what
Right, yeah. Gelt.
Looks like that. So I hope it still tastes good, but I got this in December covering the Nobel Prizes for the work that we went with our client Pratham USA at Pratham USA. But big shout out to the team at the Nobel Prizes, at Nobel Prize and NobelPrize.org. Anyway, that's Alfred Nobel. So I'm saving this for you as a birthday gift. And just one, when people say, where can social media take you? I was blessed to be able to work with people like you. That's where it's taken me. It's taken me around the world. We got to travel together to Dubai and hang out and learn and eat and work together. We went to Savannah, Georgia, right? Like, so we've done all kinds of things. So when people say, where can social media take you? It took me to a place like Stockholm to cover the Nobel Prizes, and all because of the support of everyone who watches our shows, helps us, connects with us, all of us, right? Our networks grow from all of us working together, and the folks at Muck are amazing. Will says, thank you so much for today's show. Glad I tuned in, and that's great. So let's leave Linda alone. Let her go home. Let's say goodbye. We put up the card and we say goodbye to everybody. Please tell your friends, take a photo of the card, everyone, right now. Screenshot it, send it to a friend so that they can join us right now. And let's have everyone take a photo of this and share this with their friends and family. And please join us, mrac.co/social, mrac.co/social. If you have taken the certificate course, please tell us, hashtag it, and show us the certificate. And if you haven't done this yet, we'll do group office hours again. Thanks very much, everybody. Connect with me on Twitter @Sree, @SreeNet, and follow me on YouTube, please, youtube.com/SreeNet for 118 episodes and lots more. Bye, Linda. Bye, Stefan. Everyone, thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye.